because there are places where our values don't align.
That's true.
There's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
But we accept and celebrate those things.
And we allow each other to influence. Like I allow him to influence me and he allows me to influence
I'll give you an example, right?
Hold on real quick. I noticed that only 3% of the people who watch this channel are actually subscribed. Could you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button? It helps the channel tremendously. And the bigger that the channel gets, the better the podcast will get. I appreciate you and enjoy the video. You guys are in business together.
Oh yeah.
So you're raising kids together. You're
time.
always around each other.
Yeah.
And it's really tough to do that.
Yeah.
I think for a lot of people. What's the secret? Like, how are you guys able to be around each other so much without clawing each other's eyes out, you know? Or do you do that?
I can jump on that real quick. We're able to be around each other so much because we actually like each other. Like we're actually like this is my homie, this is my best friend, right? Like we go so hard on so many different things. Our values are so aligned. Like when we met, I was dating somebody openly, like I wasn't exclusive with him, but dating somebody who was perfect on paper. And I wouldn't commit to this dude because there just wasn't something that was landing, right? And it was a values problem. Like we had a lot of values, a great dude, but we had a lot of values that weren't aligned. When I met him, it's not that he was perfect on paper, but our values were like just boom, perfect click. And those values created a world where we could dance and play together, even in challenging seasons. That's why I clarified that 7 years where we had our hardest fights, we also had the best time. You know, like traveling with somebody, like we've been through hurricanes together. We've been through some like crazy shit together, right? Like traveling on buses and, you know, developing countries and going through breakdowns and all sorts of crazy stuff, accidents in Costa Rica in a bus in Panama, like crazy stuff that most people would buckle and fold under. But because we like each other, we enjoy each other's company. Like our first trip, we went to Cabo and there was a massive hurricane. The day the next day after we landed, we had no power, no water, no nothing, couldn't get out.
The hotel's roof ripped off and it was raining into the room.
Into our room.
Flooded into the room, like the whole thing.
And so for 4 days, we're stuck. We actually ended up getting airlifted out by the military.
Wow.
But for 4 days, we had the best time.
Yep.
Like we were like making videos, we were reading books, we were meditating, we were going for walks and people watching.
Yep.
We were helping people
they
like
were
clean
writing.
out their rooms.
There was all kind of stuff happening.
Like, and I remember having this moment like, yes, like this is my kind of dude. Right? He's not freaking out. Like he's making the best of it. And that's what type of people we are.
Yep.
And so to be in a lot of life, we have a lot of life that we hold together, but I think it works because we actually like each other and enjoy each other's company.
You guys, you said that you guys share a lot of the same values, and the person you were dating before, you guys weren't in alignment in the values.
Yeah.
So do you think it's not possible to make something work if your values don't align?
I think it can if you're willing to accept and celebrate those things. Because there are places where our values don't align.
That's true.
There's a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
But we accept and celebrate those things.
And we allow each other to influence. Like I allow him to influence me and he allows me to influence
I'll give you an example, right? So let's say we pull up to a red light and then there's a sign up there that says only turn right on red on green arrow. If there's no cars coming, I'm turning. For her, she's like, hey, the sign says don't do that. Hey, the sign. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I'm turning.
Rule breaker, rule follower.
Exactly. So our values aren't aligned in that. I will just do what I want to do, right? And so we laugh at that though, right? Yeah. Like last night we were driving home and I had the signal on, and she gets so annoyed when I have the signal on for too long. And she was like, hey, your signal, right? And it's just funny. I'm like, yep. This is us. This is the game we play, and we celebrate it instead of getting mad at each other. And we allow each other to be influenced by each other. I'm a Leo in astrology, and usually Leos are big picture, not much detail, right? We're like, I got the whole thing, but not the details. And she's a Virgo. She's all the little details, and so initially, especially in the beginning, we would fight about stuff like that, where one of our biggest fights in the beginning was over a kitchen towel and how it was folded. And I was like, yo, you're not my mom. You don't get to tell me how I fold this towel. And she's like, if I'm washing the dishes, I do get to tell you.
Because I'm like, it's utility for me. I need it right here and I need it to be open so I can dry my hands in the middle of doing the thing. And if I'm doing the thing, I need it for utility. So we get into this whole argument, but the truth is that came into our business too.
Yes.
And so we actually had to look at strengths and points of development, right? For both of us. We both have incredible strengths when it comes to business, right? Incredible strengths. It's why our workshop is so powerful, because we both bring a different sauce into the mix. So there's more flavor to it, right? Mm-hmm. But we got to own our sauce. And for the first chapter of our business relationship, we were both trying to like have all the sauce. We were trying to be like the all-in-one sauce.
Yep.
And that didn't work, because then there was like a little competition in there. Correct. And like, well, that's my thing and da-da-da. And then we just said, wait. What's your sauce?
Yep.
Okay. What's my sauce? Okay. Let's just fully own our sauce and then develop and learn from each other's sauce.
Yep.
Like, ooh, I like that flavor. What seasoning are you using in that sauce? I'm gonna use some of that seasoning in mine.
I'm gonna take this even deeper for those of you with children, right? Like, we grew up differently. I got whoopings. I got my ass whooped, right? In the Black community, you do something off, you getting your ass handed to you with a belt or something, right? That's not necessarily how her culture is. And so even raising kids, we have to go, okay, well, what's our vision for this? How do we want to do this? And I'll do a little side pocket. I'm a really good dad, like extremely loving, extremely present and on it and with them. I kiss them. I kiss those kids today at least 40 times. And we're still in the morning time, right? And yet, right now, she is King Kong and I am a small fry. I don't look at that and go, how do I compete to get more attention from the kids? I just go, hey, this is my role right now. Mm-hmm. I'm daddy. I hold the space and I love on these kids. And mommy is God for them right now. And as it should be. And I also know that that's going to shift.
Yeah.
And so I accept and celebrate the role that I'm in right now, knowing that another role will come. And there'll be a point where daddy is God and they need and want and desire to be around me all the time. And so what you should be hearing in this is that we're really good at teamwork. Yeah. We're really good at shared vision. We're really good at understanding that as a rising tide lifts all boats. And so if the tide lifts this one, it lifts these ones too. Yeah. And so we're lifting together. And in doing so, it sort of blesses our entire world. Right? Yeah. When we met, one more piece, I was a surf instructor. I wasn't making a bunch of money or anything like that. But I allowed myself, one, to be influenced by her because she was on it. Two, I had a vision for my life. And going back to the high value man thing, a lot of people want the finished product. I wasn't a finished product when we met.
No, he was not good on paper, right? Mm-hmm. Like a lot of women are like, oh, he's not good on paper. He wasn't good on paper. Attractive guy. He had all this stuff, but he didn't tick the box of like money and wealth and he's arrived and da-da-da. But and I get this question asked to me a lot, like, Preston moved back in with his mom when you met him. And that's true, right? What made you say yes to a man like that? It's like, I believed in him. I saw him. I saw how much he saw himself. I'm going to make that distinction because a lot of women will see the potential of a man, but if he doesn't see it in himself, that is a project. He was not a project. He was a man who knew he was on a mission. He was just in a chapter and he was figuring some shit out, but he knew who he was. And I saw that he knew who he was and I saw who he was. So I'm like, this is a done deal. You just need some support. He didn't grow up in a family of entrepreneurs like I did.
Nope.
I grew up with business in my bones. I had my first business, before I was 10. And he's the first entrepreneur in his family. Mm-hmm. So like a lot of women are waiting for the finished product and you're missing a really good man who knows who he is, but he just needs support. And I'll say this too. A lot of men are waiting to build their kingdom before they have their woman. A really good woman will support you in building that kingdom. And I think that is something that we have to hear more of, because, you know, a lot of people see the finished product and they're like, oh yeah, well, that makes sense. It's like, yeah, but you didn't see the before. You didn't see the story that got us here. And a lot of times we have to take a leap of faith. But if we trust ourselves and we trust in the other person, that leap of faith is grounded.